What do you think of the change at this point?
I'm not surprised. Again, I thought it might come a little bit later. Frankly, I thought Eli would get one more start in Tampa. And if they got to 0-3, they would make the move. Many thought they would wait until the open week. But the way the offense is sputtered, I really think there's a lot of pressure on the Giants organization. And let's face it, when you take a quarterback in the top 10, he's going to play sooner rather than later.
He'll be taken down at the 48 for a pickup of 2 yards. Give him a couple on the catch at 2nd and 8. And now a look at the Saints starting defense.
Linebacker Demario Davis made the move from the New York Jets to the New Orleans Saints before the 2018 season, and that move really paid off for him. Always a terrific player. Now he was able to get to the playoffs for the first time in his NFL career.
They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete. So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves him staring up here at a 3rd and 8. They'll roll him out right. Apart from Kyler Murray, not too many mobile QBs in this year's rookie class, but some good scrambling there to get the first. So in Saints territory now, here's 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Throwing Jones, and the ball is out. Jones got hit and lost it.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back because this is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense.
Now Barkley stripped of the football, and this is picked up by the Saints. Often on fumbles, you look at the guy who coughed it up and say, geez, what did he do? But, hey, let's tip the cap to the defense here.
Not a problem at all, my man. I'm not even going to tip it. I'm going to doff my cap to him. Congratulations. Big-time play. Knocking it free and creating something good for your team.
The 20, 10, touchdown, New Orleans. Alvin Kamara, 55 yards. And they are able to strike first here on their opening drive.
Well, that's how you take advantage of an early turnover. A sudden change situation, meaning ball's turned over. How's both sides going to handle it? One side handled it way better. They went right out on the field and put the ball in the end zone.
One play, that just added insult to injury.
Yeah, that just tells you on the defensive side, they didn't come out ready to go, still reeling from the fact that the ball got turned over.
And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. And last time the turnover on the fumble, and they were in enemy territory, so that had to be very frustrating. Down on the scoreboard here, can't do it again.
You nailed every part of what was frustrating. Down on the scoreboard, had a drive going, had pushed it past the 50-yard line, so they felt like they were in striking distance, and to come away with nothing, not a good feeling at all, to put it mildly. Now they can't afford to do that again.
Yeah, now can they get that bad taste out of their mouth here? To throw again on 2nd down. Jones, and this is picked up by the Saints. And they'll have the ball set up in the red zone at the 16-yard line.
Can we get some forensics done here? Because I need to figure out...
What, on that ball?
Yeah, on the ball, on the guys carrying the ball, what's going on? Back-to-back drives, back-to-back fumbles. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you're coming out here playing the NFL.
I don't think the coaching staff thinks it makes a whole lot of sense either.
No, maybe there'll be changes, but if nothing else, there will be a few stern talking tos, that's for sure.
After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Ready for the second quarter from New Orleans. It's the Saints in possession on 2nd down. Kamara, as they've got it with a 2nd and 14 upcoming. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. Tay Davis there on the tackle. On 3rd down, Bridgewater. That's caught. It's Thomas. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. Okay, so now the question, how did he get that wide open?
Well, we both know that he shouldn't, because from the time they handed out scouting reports before this game, he was circled, starred, everything. Find him, cover him. But sometimes you can scheme a guy open. You put the receivers in a bunch. Maybe you move some motion. Maybe you put them on the backside of a formation, and all of a sudden you've got a better matchup. Every now and then, the offensive guys, they figure a way to get him open, even with everyone keeping eyes on him.
And that's certainly certainly a guy they want to keep trying to scheme open. Bridgewater with a keeper. And he'll barrel his way into the end zone for a Saint touchdown. Teddy Bridgewater taking it in. And the Saints able to stretch. And he takes off with it. It's a fake.
And the sneak works on 2nd and goal. They didn't wait until it was 4th down to try and get him across.
No, and I think if you're the QB, you like these plays, don't you? I mean, you want to hand it off sometimes, but also prove that you can get it in there as well.
Yeah, it makes you really part of the gang, doesn't it? It makes you part of the crew, and it really bonds you with those big offensive linemen because then you get to celebrate with the big fellas.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Giants offense taking the field here. And, Charles, earlier we talked about their 0-2 start to the season. It's their 6th in 7 years. That is an astounding stat. So the change at quarterback, but the bottom line is they got to find a way to get wins.
They certainly do. They're 4-13 at home in their last 2+ years. That's the worst in the NFL. And making the change and getting the start for their young quarterback, Daniel Jones, on the road at Tampa, I think is a really good move rather than starting him at home the very next week against Washington. Let him get his feet wet on the road. Teams tend to band together, you know, us against the world mentality on the road. Let's see if that works for him before he comes home to face the New York crowd.
On the move to his left. And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. And this is picked up by the Saints. And he's going to take this one back to the 37-yard line. And now 3 drives, 3 fumbles.
What's amazing about it is when we go around and watch practices, how many times do we see them put that sleeve over a football now to make it more slippery and hard to handle? It's almost like they're playing with that sleeve on the ball right now. Was that 3 drives?
Yep.
3 fumbles?
3 fumbles.
It's time to change our luck some way, somehow. Focus, concentration, you'll hear those words on the bench in a big way right now.
To throw on 2nd and 10. Bridgewater. He'll air it out deep for... This is caught inside the 15. And he's able to get this down deep on the Giants side of the field. 1:55 left to go in the first half of play. Coming up at halftime in a little less than 2 minutes, we'll send you to Orlando where Jonathan Coachman is standing by. He'll have highlights and analysis of this first half. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4. On 2nd down and 4, Bridgewater looking for Thomas. He's got him. Touchdown, New Orleans. A 9-yard touchdown there. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further.
I know a lot of people look at these games and think, all right, this thing's done. Let's have some sportsmanship. Let's not try and score. You should never do that in the NFL. I've seen big leads blown and teams that looked like they had a victory, all of a sudden we're going home with a loss.
And the formula there on the 2-point try to go 5 wide, not even the option to hand the ball off. They got it.
They tried to create space, and there isn't a whole lot of it there. For the defense, what you're trying to do is make sure that if they're going to catch the ball, make them catch it behind you because they run out of space with the back line. But in this case...
The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Jones, and he's taken down here by the Saints. The Giants going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with exactly a minute to go before halftime.
56, 56, check 56. Ready.
Now Jones throwing on 3rd and long. And Ingram hauls it in. And all the way down to the 22-yard line. Now the Giants will use the 2nd of their 3 timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. Now Jones gets this out to Saquon Barkley. Give him maybe a yard, quite the opposite from the previous big gainer. They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. The Giants going to burn their 3rd and final timeout, as it'll come with 15 seconds to play in the first half. And the kick by Rosas is good. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. Remember, with Rosas, there was some speculation last year in the preseason that he might not hold on to his job with the Giants.
But he certainly answered the challenge, didn't he? 32 of 33 during the regular season, 97% that is, and was named to the NFC Pro Bowl team. And by the way, at 6'3", 234, he can bench press your kicker.
Getting set for their next drive, the New Orleans offense. Time for a final kneel down or a safe run, and then they can head to the locker room with a lead.
Yeah, or they can even run a screen. You know, something they feel is somewhat safe that might actually pop and turn into a big play. That's what you usually run in this situation.
Or go 4 verticals because why not?
Because you're feeling it, right? You're just feeling it.
Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll wind up getting an extra couple yards here for his trouble as he'll bring this one out to the 27. Out come the Saints now. They'll go on offense first here to begin the 3rd quarter. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. Looking long for Thomas. This is caught at the 20. Touchdown, New Orleans. Michael Thomas, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further.
In order to lead in a game, you're going to get plenty of contributors, but that's his 2nd touchdown catch of this game. He's one of the key guys in this one.
And you better believe he'll be looking for the hat trick here as this one continues to go. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second half?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
Tackle made there by Kiko Alonso. That's complete left side to Shepard. And they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that. Good defense holds him to only a yard, and it'll be 4th down.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. It's a foot race.